Hello, this is the 263rd edition of Catch of the Day, available on the Branch Talk YouTube channel. Today we're going to continue reading from a book written by Trent Wilde, entitled The Mosaic Torah, starting at the top of page 31, P-Source, 1421. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea. J. And Yahweh drove back the sea with a strong east wind all through the night, and he made the sea into dry ground. P. And the waters were split. And the children of Israel went into the middle of the sea on dry ground, and the waters were for them a wall on their right and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued them, and went after them, every horse of Pharaoh, his chariotry, and his horsemen, into the midst of the sea. J. Source, 1424. And it happened in the morning watch, P. Source, and Yahweh, who was in a pillar of fire and cloud, looked down on the Egyptian camp, J. Source, that he threw the camp of Egypt into confusion, E. Source, at 1425. And he bound their chariots' wheels so that they drove with difficulty, J. And the Egyptians said, I must flee from the presence of Israel, for Yahweh is fighting for them against Egypt. P. Source, 1426. And Yahweh said to Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea, and the waters will return upon the Egyptians on their chariotry, and on their horsemen. 1427. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, J. Source, and the sea went back to its regular flow, as it turned toward morning. And the Egyptians fled from meeting it, but Yahweh tossed the Egyptians into the sea. P. Source, 1428. And the waters went back and covered the chariotry and the horsemen, all of the army of Pharaoh, who were coming after them in the sea. None of them survived, not even one. 1429. But the children of Israel walked on dry ground through the middle of the sea, and the waters were for them a wall on their right and on their left. Exodus 12:41, 14:1 and 2, 4, 8a, 9b to 10a, d, 15 to 18, 21a, c23, 24b, 26, and 27a, 28 and 29, J. Source, 1430. And in that day Yahweh delivered Israel from the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the shore of the sea, E. Source, 1431. And Israel saw the great hand that Yahweh used against the Egyptians, and the people feared Yahweh. Exodus chapter 12, verse 31. 13, verse 17 and 18, 14, verse 3, 5b to 6, 10b, 11 to 13a, c, 14b, 19a, and 25a, 31a. J. Source. And they trusted in Yahweh and in Moses his servant. Exodus 5, verse 2, 13, 18b, 21 and 22. 14, verse 5a, 7, 8b to 9a, 10c, 13a to b, 14a, 19b to 20, 21b, 24a, c, 25b, 27b, 30, 31b. Footnote number 43, that the pillar here is being introduced for the first time is indicated by the indefinite a pillar instead of the definite the aforementioned pillar. See also FN 56. Page 32. As you may have noticed, the combined narrative has some major problems. On one hand, Israel is said to have fled Egypt in defiance in 14:5a and 8b. But on the other hand, they are said to have left with Pharaoh's permission, 12, verse 31 and 13:17. Some verses tell us that the Egyptians who were attempting to flee from the Israelites were tossed by Yahweh into the sea after it had returned to its regular state, 14, verse 25b and 27b. But other verses say that they were pursuing Israel through a water-walled path in the middle of the sea, which then closed in on them, covering them with water. 14, verse 22 and 23, 24b, 26 to 27a, and 28. Furthermore, if the Egyptian forces all died in the middle of the sea by water collapsing upon them as they traversed the dried up seabed, as it says in one verse, 14:28, how could Israel have seen them dead on the seashore, as is described by another verse, 14:30? It would be unreasonable to suppose that a story which is self-conflicted in such a way and to such an extent came from the hand of a single author. Rather, what we have is a combination of originally separate stories by different authors. One story had Israel defiantly flee Egypt, while another had them leave with Pharaoh's permission. One story said the Egyptians fled from the Israelites at the sea, while another said they pursued the Israelites into the sea. One story said Yahweh tossed the Egyptians into the already normalized sea, while the other said the sea collapsed upon them, while they were passing through its dry path. There in the midst of the sea, one story had them die, while the other had them seen dead on the seashore. Moreover, as one can see from the above columns of text, there are not two but three discernible stories in this passage, and they are all quite unique. Did you notice that P's story is the only one with walls of water and a divided sea? Did you notice that E doesn't have a sea crossing at all? In J, the Egyptians stop pursuing Israel because they are thrown into confusion and become afraid of Yahweh, while E's Egyptians fail in their pursuit because a messenger, typically translated angel of Elohim, messes with their chariot wheels, and in P, their pursuit ends only in the sea. J's Israelites fear the oncoming Egyptians and are comforted and encouraged by Moses, while E's Israelites complain of the oncoming Egyptians, and Moses rebukes them. In P, Yahweh hardens Pharaoh's heart. In E, Pharaoh changes his own heart. And in J, Pharaoh is evidently heartless. J's story takes place in stages of transition from daytime to nighttime and then to morning. E implies that what it describes took place during the day, since it repeatedly mentions Israel seeing things, and P doesn't give any indication of the time of day. If you keep reading and rereading the passage, you are sure to find more differences between the sources, each indicating with the rest that there are indeed three originally separate stories, with different authors combined together in this passage. Take care.